You're tuned in to the city's only international radio station. And this is Good Morning Delhi with your host, Chris.
Radio 1.
All right, that's Aussie band In Excess with that great song. 17 minutes past 9. Welcome back to the show. And like I was telling you about School of Life, there are many different skills that they try and impart to all the students who enroll there. But I think they specifically focus on certain areas. And we're going to be talking about sexual development and bringing that subject up with young kids. And joining me is Diana Cherian. Good morning, Diana. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Hi, Chris. How are you?
I'm great. All right. Also, Hriddhi Motwani Kukreja, you want to say a quick hi?
Hi, everyone. Good to be here with you, Chris.
Great to have you here. You're quite a Radio 1 listener, aren't you?
Oh, yes. Me and a lot of my friends say a big hi to you, Chris.
Okay. Hello, girls. Okay.
And so boys too.
Boys too. Hey, boys. All right. So, coming down to what it is that you guys do at School of Life, let's hear a little about that.
Right. So we are an organization, a small initiative that started with some curious minds put together. Mm-hmm. And we work in the broad area of creating awareness and prevention of child sexual abuse. Mm-hmm. Also talking about healthy sexuality, growing up in a healthy way for adolescents and preteens. Mm-hmm. Those are our flagship programs. We work with schools. We worked with some of the bigger names in Delhi NCR, which has included Pathways, the Heritage School, Shri Ram, etc. And what we try and endeavor to make is that schools and homes should be safe spaces for kids. And that's what we're trying to do with the increasing incidents and reports of child sexual abuse, which truly corrupts and traumatizes a child's childhood. We want to try and make sure that these spaces are no longer scary for children. They are safe. We want to equip children, parents and teachers with the necessary skills of what is it that I can do to make the spaces at home, in schools, etc., safe for children. How can I keep them safe from something as traumatizing as sexual abuse?
While I don't want to get into the numbers, I feel data is very revealing.
True.
Do you guys also work with data to find out, which sections of society are more prone to these kind of incidences? Also, just any kind of data that you could share with us this morning.
Yes. So there is a lot of data available internationally, but for India specifically, there was one big study which was conducted in 2007. That's also been some time, but we have a lot of numbers and they're not good. They're unfortunately not good.
Is it getting more year on year?
So since 2007, there's not been any reliable study to fall back upon. But even if I look at the 2007 numbers, and we all know that statistics are always an underestimation of what really is the phenomenon.
Yeah.
But studies are indicating up to 1 in 3 girls being molested or sexually abused before they turn 18. 1 in 5 boys being sexually abused before they turn 18.
Okay.
There are also a lot of misconceptions around, like you just asked me if there is a specific strata of the society where people or children are more vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that's one of the misconceptions, because a lot of times people think that, we belong to a respectful middle class family, or, our family is educated and blah, blah, blah. But what truly is the case is that sexual abuse is rampant across the society. It's not something that happens only in slums, or
it's distributed equally, you're saying. All right. Okay,
absolutely.
we're going to come back and talk some more with Diana Cherian of School of Life. And also Hriddhi Motwani Kukreja. Stick around. I've got more music lined up for you. You know I do. I got the Radio 1 band with this one.
Don't let them say that you're young. Don't let them say that you're done. You know you can go far, 'cause you're a youth star.
Youth Star. You can check it out on YouTube and Facebook as well. It's all there and it's rockin', baby.
You're tuned in to the city's only international radio station. And this is Good Morning Delhi with your host, Chris.
Radio 1.
Well, did you like it? Well, I sure hope you did, because it's a great song. It's a Radio 1 band original called Youth Star. It's 9:29. Good morning. Welcome back. School of Life. School's in session. And it's happening right here on Good Morning Delhi. Joining me for a conversation is Diana Cherian and Hriddhi Motwani Kukreja. We're talking about sexuality and how you introduce sexuality to children. And that's exactly what School of Life spends a great deal of time doing. sometimes I feel the adults also could do with a re-education.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, what it is, because I'm going back to the data, because the data will tell you a lot of things,
Yes.
right? What are you finding out? Like, for example, which age groups or which age is more vulnerable
Yeah.
from what you've learned?
Yeah. I think related to this, Chris, I'll also have to talk about some misconceptions relating to child sexual abuse.
Yeah.
For example, most people believe that, child sexual abuse happens when children reach puberty, when they reach 12 or they're 13 and girls' bodies start developing, that's when they start attracting.
You need to start being protective.
Yes. And that's unfortunately not true, because children in the age group of 5 to 8 are most vulnerable to sexual abuse. They're so young.
Yeah.
They don't know nothing from nothing at that age. And that is the age actually that they're most vulnerable. The other important and unfortunate fact is that more than 90% of the cases that have been reported of child sexual abuse, the perpetrator, the abuser, is someone whom the child and the child's family trusts. So it's someone inside the family, it's someone well known to the family, it's someone who is at a respectable and a trustable position. And that's so unfortunate for the child as well.
Yeah.
Also,
And tough for a parent, for a
yes.
guardian, because that means, you can't turn to anyone.
yes, you have to be careful. Yes, you have
and
to be careful.
alert and
Yes.
vigilant, like all the time, right?
Absolutely. You have to be aware.
Yeah.
And like Riddhi was just mentioning to you in the studio, that awareness is the key to prevention.
Yeah.
A lot of parents know about this. They know that there's something called sexual abuse. They know that children are vulnerable to it, but they don't want to talk about it. They don't want to hear about it. They don't want to see it.
But I don't think is that really true still, Diana?
Yes.
Because I'm thinking, I'm a parent and I want to know everything there is to know, and I've got my eyes in every place.
I just like to add here that, when the first time our founder, Ms. Jyoti Grover, she asked me to come and work for the organization, and we talked about, how the organization works on creating awareness and spreading the message about safety of children from child sexual abuse. My own reaction, and I feel I'm educated or, out there, I was so closed and inhibited and even fearful, because I thought that if I don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. And
Really?
that's, yeah, and you want to turn away from it. As a culture, we have a culture of silence. So we either turn away from it, or
Yeah.
we feel ashamed to talk even about our sexuality.
Yeah.
Forget sexual abuse.
Yeah.
So we are just either we are quiet about it, or we are just not willing to talk and open about it. And as a parent of 2 children, I just felt, if I don't talk too much about it, it doesn't exist. I can just
Right.
brush it away.
Okay.
And that's why we say that awareness is so important.
Coming back to also the stats and some more, you spoke about gender.
Yes. Again, a lot of parents think that, I have a boy, I don't have to worry about sexual abuse because I have a boy. It's unfortunately, again, not true.
What are the numbers telling
Yes.
you?
So the 2007 study, again, I'm referring to that. More than 54% of boys reported that they were sexually abused or molested rather than girls. And you can think
That's
about
probably
it.
because, parents, he's a boy, he'll be
Yes.
okay. It's the girls I have to worry about. It's probably
Yes.
the reason why they get exposed and they're vulnerable more.
Absolutely.
We're going to come back and talk some more with Riddhi Motwani Kukreja and Diana Cherian of the School of Life. Coming up on the other side, I got music lined up for you. Maroon 5, my artist of the month up with.
Yeah, baby, give me one more night.
One more night coming up.
You're tuned in to the city's only international radio station. And this is Good Morning Delhi with your host, Chris.
Radio 1.
Maroon 5 with One More Night, and School is in. School of Life. Joining me on the show this morning, Diana Cherian. She's a clinical psychologist and co-director, and Riddhi Motwani Kukreja, project lead. We spoke about the subject of sexual abuse and how you are involved in educating children and parents as well,
Yes.
adults,
Yes.
on that subject. You spoke about the shroud of silence. Now, you
Yes.
spoke about stats where 1 in 3 girls are abused.
Yes.
This is according
Before
to the
they turn
2007
Yes.
survey.
Absolutely.
And this is always underreported,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So 1 in 3 girls, 1 in 5. Sounds sounds like we need to be doing something about it.
Absolutely, Chris.
Right? And that's 2007. I mean,
Yes.
I can only imagine what's happened since then.
So yes, absolutely. And I really want to talk about this shroud of silence that is often maintained and encouraged by elders, parents, teachers, institutions around children and their bodies. We often hush our children, whenever they ask about, Mama, why does this part of my body look like this? Or, Dad, why does that part of my
if
friend's
they're
body?
curious, they
they're
look at
curious.
themselves.
Absolutely. They look at themselves.
And
they're
then you immediately say, no,
exploring.
don't stop that.
Yes, we say, no, bad boy. We say,
Yeah.
no, bad girl. Good girls don't talk about this. Good
Yeah.
boys don't talk about this. What we do is, what are we doing? We tell the child that there are certain parts of your body, your private parts, your genitals, are parts of the body that you should either be ashamed of, you should be embarrassed about, or you should not talk about. Now, this silence is what child sexual abusers exploit. They know that a child doesn't know how to talk about it or what to say. Parents don't want to talk about it. Teachers don't want to hear about it. So abusers will exploit the children sexually, and that is why child sexual abuse continues typically for a long time. It's not a one-time incident. It just keeps going on for days, months, and years.
Perpetuating.
And the truth is that we as parents or teachers, institutions who are part of children's lives are actually perpetuating, are allowing abuse to
Complicit.
happen. Yes,
Without knowing it.
by staying silent. So it's very important.
Really?
Yes.
I mean, I'm incredulous here.
yes.
They stay silent? I
Yes.
mean, why?
We stay silent because it's an issue that is too painful to think about. No parent wants to think that, my child could be
sexuality has
sexually
entered their life.
Absolutely. But that's the thing. The first thing that has to go from our heads is that sexuality is not about sex. It's not about the act of intercourse.
Yeah.
It's about how I feel about my body. It's about what kind of clothes I wear. It's
Yeah.
about how I express my body. It's about how I want others to look at me and how I look at myself.
Right.
And that is something that even a child, 2 years old, 3 years old, 5 years old, 10 years old, should be comfortable doing. A child should be told that there is no part of your body that you should be embarrassed or ashamed of. That you can come and talk to me about anything regarding your body, and it's a healthy body. It's a
You
beautiful
spoke about
body.
the names that we assign
Yes.
to, our private parts.
Yes. No, so
It's
typically
pee-pee and
yes,
poo-poo
pee-pee
and-
and chichi and susu and shame.
Yeah.
Again, now what are these words doing? We are telling children that that's your head, that's your nose, that's your ear, but this is a pee-pee, this is a chichi, or this is a susu, or this is shame.
Yeah.
We are the ones telling the child that, listen, I'm not comfortable talking about this part of your body.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk
And they
about
pick up
it.
these messages.
Yes,
They're
you don't have
incredible.
to say it out in words. Children will absolutely pick it up.
And it's kind of sad that when we work with students as old as 12, 13 years, we work with boys and girls, and they can't name their private body parts. We have boys coming and saying the main point. It happens all the time. The machine gun, the
Oh,
main
whoa,
point.
whoa.
And these are older children.
Really? So let's say it today on air.
Absolutely. So call the penis because
Yeah.
it is that.
Yeah.
Call the vagina because
Yeah.
it is that. It's nothing else.
So I can do that. I can tell my 2-year-old that.
Absolutely. So the child learns that just like my head and my nose and my ear and my stomach, I have a vagina or I have a penis, and it also has a function. So penis in boys is used to do susu. There is a clitoris or there is a vulva which is used to do susu.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's all the information a young child needs at that point in time. But let's not trivialize or put shame
Or
to
how
any body
how
part.
that part of the body also becomes a bad word.
Yes.
That's another one. All right, we're going to come back, talk some more with the folks from School of Life. I've got a song that Diana has cherry-picked
Yay.
from Indus Creed. It's called Pretty Child. It's a fantastic song. We're coming back with that.
You're tuned in to the city's only international radio station. And this is Good Morning Delhi with your host, Chris.
Radio 1.
Such a beautiful song, such awesome production values. You can hear every instrument in that song. Indus Creed with Pretty Child. It's 9:58, and the reason we put that song is because it's on Diana Cherian's request, and Hridi Motwani Kukreja from School of Life. That song's great, isn't it?
Yes, Chris, thank you so much for playing it. We're talking about children. It's
Summer of
just right.
innocence, but innocence can be preserved if one is aware,
Absolutely.
right?
Yes.
So, children send out indicators.
Yes.
how do I read my child?
Fantastic. That's a very important question. One thing that as parents or as teachers, any adult who has a child in your life has to understand is that it's very difficult for a child to come and put in words what is happening to him or her, right? So we shouldn't expect a child to come and say, oh, mama, oh, dada,
To
I was...
articulate it in words.
Yes. But there are other signs that a child will show, will demonstrate, and let me tell you a few of those. For example, a child will suddenly develop a fear of a known place that he or she was otherwise very comfortable being in, like a playground, like the school playground, or a particular place at home.
Right.
The child could also suddenly develop a lot of fear or discomfort with a particular person that the child otherwise has been all right with. Now, these are some broad indicators. A child as young as 3, 4, 5, 6 could indicate in his or her drawing some bizarre sexual themes, which otherwise a child of that age is not expected to show.
Yeah.
Children at this age group love being, touched, hugged. If a child starts feeling uncomfortable with even touch from the parents, starts throwing them off suddenly, which otherwise the child was never doing, that's also a broad indicator.
Tell me something, Diana, because a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old doesn't know enough about the
Yes.
various parts of their body.
Yes.
So if they've been abused in any way, would they know that they've been abused even?
No. Because like I said, it's typically someone who is known and trusted. So it could be an uncle, it could be a grandparent, it could be someone loved and cherished by the child.
So would they even know good touch from bad? Would they even know?
No, not necessarily.
Would they even have a residual feeling?
Sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't. So that's again a very common misconception. People believe that if a child is being sexually abused, he or she will know that something wrong is happening to me. It's not necessary. A lot of times abusers will tell them, I'm your favorite uncle, you're my favorite nephew. This is how favorite uncle and nephews play. So the child thinks this is just something every uncle does to every child.
Yeah.
So it's not true that a child will know that something wrong is happening.
So coming
Which
back to
is
the
why-
indicators.
Yes. So those are some of the indicators I spoke of. Also, some broad things. For example, if there are sudden mood swings, meeting people has suddenly become shy and innocent. Not innocent, but has withdrawn. The child is having nightmares. Goes back to some earlier developmental stages like thumb sucking or bedwetting, which the child had stopped for some time. Now, these are some of the broad indicators.
Right.
What you have to keep in mind is that you can't just see one indicator and come to the conclusion that, oh, my child is being sexually abused. It's important to keep all these indicators in mind. And if you see 3, 4 of them happening together in your child, then you have some reason to doubt that, oops, maybe my child is having a sexual experience that the child should not be having.
What should a parent do?
What should a parent
I mean,
do?
there'd be. I would imagine any parent would be at loss just trying to
Yes.
figure out what to do next.
Yes.
Very quickly.
Yes, a very good idea, and this is more long-term rather than, crisis management. Have chats with your child every day before the child goes to sleep on talking about, were there things today that made you feel happy? Were there things today that made you feel safe? Were there things today that made you feel not so happy? Were there things that made you feel unsafe? Having daily conversations like this with your child will help identify for the child that there was this uncle, he gave me a lot of sweets, he gave me a lot of toffees and I liked it, but he also touched me, he also spoke to me, he showed me something that I didn't understand. Maintaining a day-to-day conversation with your child, not just crisis management, not just sudden interventions, but a day-to-day conversation, helping the child know that I can talk to my parents about safe things and unsafe things.
Okay, we're going to conclude with Riddhi. Riddhi, what do you want to say in conclusion, very quickly?
I'm just going to say that, we really follow a quote which says, we are not saying it's easy, we're saying it's going to be worth it. So I know we all conditioned not to talk about sexuality. That's like a no word for us, most of us, and we're conditioned not to definitely talk about sexual abuse, but we should come out and talk about it because it's worth it and it's very, very important.
All right, well, it starts from today. Mom and Dad, if you're listening in right now, see what it is that you can put into place from all the conversation you've heard this morning. Thanks, guys, for coming over. Diana and Riddhi, you guys are doing great work.
Thank you, Chris. Thanks for having us.
All right, well, coming up on the other side, the Doobie Brothers are up. Music's good for you. Keep it on.